Hi friends, this is what it's all about over here. The Gemara in of itself, Masechet Bava Batra at the moment. We are friends on page 108, that's Kufchet, naturally in Hebrew, where we're actually entering the 8th perek now of Masechet Bava Batra, called Perek Yesh Nohalin, respectively. And it's very much begins and comes alive, let's just say, in today's page of the Gemara. This actual perek, chapter, as they say in English, is the laws of inheritance. And generally speaking, how a person's property is divided up after he passes away. So the laws of inheritance naturally is stated in a very clear structure in the Torah, in Sefer Bamidbar, naturally in chapter number 27. And in response, let's say, to the requests made by the daughters of Tzlofchad, that's what they were talking about inside those verses, to receive their father's inheritance in the absence of any male children. The Torah delineates how an estate can be divided. Nevertheless, there is a need to clarify details of these laws and to investigate, let's just say, in of itself, questions like, are these laws obligatory? Or can perhaps even should the patriarch divide his worldly possessions according to his own priorities and desires? So which code of conduct is going to be used over here? Can he use his own, like, say, gut guesstimate, his feeling, the way he wants to do it? So the first Mishnah opens by stating that some relatives both receive and an inheritance and also bequeath to others. So they take or receive and bequeath. Some inherit but do not bequeath. Some bequeath but do not inherit. And some neither inherit nor bequeath. That's phrases you can categorize them in. The first two cases of relatives who both receive an inheritance and pass it on to the others are a father, naturally, who, let's say, receives an inheritance from his children and passes it on to them, and a son who receives an inheritance from his father and passes it to him. So the Gemara itself, I think, is perplexed by this and questions why the first case that the Mishnah chooses to teach is, unfortunately, sadly, a tragedy. A father receives, let's say, an inheritance from his son. For such a case to happen, a double tragedy would have to occur over here. The child must die in his father's lifetime. That's the first thing. And he should not have had any offspring of his own. So the Gemara itself is going to suggest that a better case to be first, let's say, would have been, let's say, hypothetically, a son who inherits from his father, since that is the way of the world. I mean, you could say it's for the son to actually inherit from the father himself. So the Gemara actually answers that the laws, or law granting the father the right to receive an inheritance from his son is not clearly written in the Torah. And the author, let's say, of the Mishnah preferred to offer a, let's say, some sort of a teaching, novelty, based on actually a rabbinic derivation, rather than, let's say, just a law that is simply stated in the Torah in of itself. So there is that difference here. But please look over the page in of itself. We're on page 108. Very, very interesting. These are Gemaras which many of the top yeshivot will actually spend some serious time learning about, and really opens the mind and the brains to learn these different tough sugyot in of itself, and very informative ones also. So wishing all a good day and blessings here from Israel.